Hi guys, Crowlister here with another long play. With the 5 Game Boy Mega Man games just being added to the Nintendo Switch Online app, I thought I would try playing these games for a YouTube series. I played Mega Man's 1 to 4 on the NES on my channel. Make sure to check those out if you haven't already, if you want. And now in this video, I will play the first Mega Man game on the Game Boy, which is called Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge, released in 1991. This is kind of an alternate telling of the first and second games in the series, with the Robot Masters you fight in it. And the other later Game Boy Mega Man games besides Mega Man 5 are also kind of like that with the later games in the series. As you'll see. There's also an exclusive Robot Master that they added in each of the different Game Boy games that's immune to all special weapons, and that gets you a new special weapon themselves after you beat them. Some may say these games are harder and less fun than the original NES games, and some people wouldn't consider these to be canon. Even so, as a big classic Mega Man fan, I do want to play these regardless. And I'm glad that these are on the Switch now, so that means I no longer have to go back to the 3DS to play these. I'll start with Iceman, the easiest of the 4 in my opinion. Gotta be careful while going toward the Bunby Hellies. Just shoot them as soon as you get near them. I played the Game Boy app with the Game Boy Color filter applied, so there's a little bit of color. And the ice does make it hard to stay put on. It's a bit slippery, so you gotta be careful of your stability here. The ice blocks will melt a bit the longer you stand on them, and eventually disappear. Slippery terrain maybe hit the squirm. You have to wait for ice drops to come down here, and then use them as platforms to get across. Right here, it's even trickier. Unfortunately, couldn't avoid damage, and you have to be quick around these also. Otherwise, you have to go down and start again. And then there's a big eye, which makes matters even worse. They're not going to be quite as intimidating after I get Iceman's weapon, though. The same goes for the Sniper Joes. You can't hit that squirm at all with no special weapons. Talk about unfair. Not to worry, the boss itself is easy. Easier in this game than he was in the original 1987 Mega Man on the NES. The Ice Slasher bullets do severe damage, though, so try to stay focused. There. We got the Ice Slasher, one of the most useful weapons in this game in my opinion. Next up we'll do Fireman. The hot-headed waste disposal robot. So we got adhering Susies to start with. You gotta be careful of the chain keys as they fall. You cannot destroy them, and they can bounce you into the lava and kill you easily. Just like with the original game, you can use the Ice Slasher to freeze the fire pillars and make them standable. I like to use the Ice Slasher particularly on enemies that get super annoying, like Sniper Joes. It makes them a lot easier to deal with. If enemies like Bunby Hellies drop a pickup on lone columns that you have to jump across over a trap, they can force you into the trap easily and kill you, so you have to be careful of that. That got me in the space station stage near the end of the game in the base recording. The Ice Slasher could possibly be useful against the chain key makers also. I'm just a conservationist. I use special weapons if I feel it's necessary. Remember that the Mega Buster is limited to a triple shot for fast firing, so try not to miss. Got an extra life. You can freeze these flames in the jets with the Ice Slasher as well. Contact with them even while they're frozen will still damage you. Wow. There's a bunch of chain key makers you gotta fight through up ahead. Fireman is significantly easier in this game than he was in the original NES game, which he needs to be, because in the original NES game, he's about impossible to no damage. They nerfed him in the Sega Genesis version as well, in Mega Man the Wily Wars. Alright, now I suffer. Cutman stage in Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge might be my least favorite stage in the series. It's so unfair. The whole stage is. You gotta be careful around the screwdrivers with their attacks. And then you have the cutting wheels, which are just ridiculous across the board. Without the Ice Slasher, you're going to absolutely struggle on this one, believe me. And because Cutman's alleged weakness, the super arm, is not in this game, your next best choice is the Firestorm, and it's not that efficient. Compared to what he's like in the original game, he's so much harder. And the fact that you have to deal with the cutting wheels on conveyor belts is also not fair. Part of Mega Man is memorizing what the best order to fight the bosses is. And memorizing where all the enemies are in every stage and what weapons you should be using against them. The metal cutters will approach you a bit and then orbit in a clockwise rotation after you approach them. So just remember that, and you can avoid them easily. The big guy has to be in midair in order to be destructible, so I slasher him after he jumps before he lands. And as if the stage itself wasn't hard enough, the boss is just as hard, if not harder. It's so much more difficult to dodge the rolling cutter attack in this game, so yeah. Like I said, this might be my least favorite stage in the entire series. And I played all of the classic Mega Mans except powered up on the PlayStation Portable. So, I know the series. So this leaves Elec Man. Not nearly as bad to deal with specifically in this game. You just have to memorize the appearing and disappearing blocks sequence you got here. Haha. The fans will push you back a little bit while you're in front of them, so keep moving forward or have some place jumps with some move forwards around them to keep yourself from getting pushed off. Now we have a fan with electric traps and spike pits, both in one. So be careful. Approach the metals just before they shoot and shoot them while they open. Combination of adhering Susies and disappearing and reappearing blocks. Then for Elec Man, you want to use the rolling cutter. Without it, it's quite difficult, because the thunder beam hits like a truck on you. At this point in the game, you also get the carrier support item. Now then. At this point in the game, well, the next one that you see after this one, the Sniper Joes will start to jump as you do, making them even more annoying. You also have a couple of places on the stage where you have to go through a tunnel with moles, which can be a good opportunity to grind and get your energy back up, which I badly need to do. Luckily, I was lucky enough to get a large energy capsule, so I didn't have to wait long. The carry brings up a platform directly underneath Mega Man while in mid-air, and can be useful for stopping him from falling onto spikes, or to reach ledges he couldn't otherwise reach. See how that Sniper Joe just jumped as I did? This is where the Bunby Hellies and item drops got me in the previous run to this one during the recording that I cut out, like I said earlier. You also got the updated metals here. Trying to get this energy capsule. There. Yeah, the Firestorm's not the weapon to use on Squirms. You cannot deploy a carrier until the previous one disappears. You can destroy the gabules with the rolling cutter or the thunder beam. Right here we have PPs. These can be quite a headache. Alright, I badly need to get my health back up before I proceed, so I'll just fast forward through this. Hopefully 5-fold fast-forwarding through that part will help some people from getting bored. Then we fall down into a teleport system, much like the traditional Robot Master rematches, except we're going to be fighting 4 completely different bosses. There's Quick Man, easily one of the most annoying in the game to deal with just the Buster. Yet somehow I managed to survive, with 1 point of vitality remaining. Here's an easier one, Bubble Man. The bubble lead is actually the alleged weakness for Heat Man. Give me an easy victory. And now we're left with Flash Man. No Metal Blade means this guy is not easy to deal with at all. You're pretty much hopeless against his special weapon. Where no damage is concerned, so... You only have just enough ammo with the atomic fire to beat him, so try not to miss. So here's the exclusive Robot Master in Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. His name is Enker. He runs to the side, holds up a staff to absorb shots, and convert it into his own more powerful shot, then heads to the side again. While he's not that tough, he can hurt you with his movement pattern without warning, as he keeps doing here. And he's also immune to all special weapons, so you have to rely on the Buster. The other Game Boy Mega Man games up to 4 have an exclusive Robot Master like that as well. More about the Mirror Buster later on. So we're in the space station, eh? You can't use the carrier again until the previous one disappears, so keep that in mind while going across the part where using it is required. I should have equipped the Thunder Beam here. Here's that appearing block sequence again. So many big eyes. Then we have cutting wheels. These guys were so annoying in Cutman stage. And another one of these. It takes memorization to get through this one. I like to use the firestorm against the PPs, since you got a bullet that revolves around you in addition to a projectile. Atomic fire is the answer to how do you destroy these steel block columns. Alright, with this, we go to the final boss. This Wily Machine constantly spews out cutting wheels in an alternate manner, like this. You dodge them by jumping over the low shot one and backing away from the high shot one, while just shooting at the whistle-shaped jaw. Then for the next phase, we're gonna use the Enker weapon, the Mirror Buster. This is easy. Simply hold the Mirror Buster to deflect the shots from the gun, which alternates down and up, while staying away from the grabber that he also uses to attack you. Memorization of its pacing is key to really defeating him on command. Little bit of flashing, not that bad. And there we go. In place of staff credits, the end of the game shows you the names of all the different enemies in the game. Megaman's returning home in a space shuttle. Then, here's the Castrol. Unbehelly. That was a mistranslation. You see, Mega Man's in the inside of the shuttle. Then he just looks out in the distance through the window. Mouth open, smiling as the plants in the distance. Then after that, it says thank you for playing, presented by Capcom. And then the game will just sit there, so you'll have to reset it if you want to play it again. And yeah, that was Mega Man Dr. Wily's Revenge. I will be doing the rest of the Canon series and the other Game Boy games, and I will play Mega Man X as well at some point, I promise. So stay tuned for that and more. I am Crowster, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next upload from here.